Hi, this is the only training that you will need to use properly the Debt Acceleration Services. When you click the link that you receive when you subscribe, you will see a blank screen like this one. We suggest actually that you enter your data from a computer or iPad as opposed to your mobile. The mobile is a very nice experience once you have your debts entered. So, the first thing that we're going to do after we see this blank screen is to click the debt option here. You see debts here. Okay. So I'm clicking there. And you're going to see either a blank screen like this one, or you're going to see a blank screen with one empty row. Either way, we're going to click, if we see a blank row, blank debt, you can use that one too. But in this case, we need to add a new debt. It's very important that you pay attention to the correct type of debt. Type of debt, they react differently. For example, a car loan is different than a credit card or for insurance or mortgage or PayPal. Some of them act similarly one to another, like store card is similar to a credit card and essentially pretty much the same. But if you don't find the correct type here, you still can use other revolving debt like credit card or other pay in full, like would be like a utility, things that you need to pay in full, like your insurance, and not revolving debt, like would be like an installment loan, for example, or a car loan. So being said that, we're going to do several examples so you understand the use of the program and how it works. Here we're going to put in our example a monthly budget. This is a very important number that must be real. In other words, you cannot invent this number. It has to be based on your income, has to be based on reality, but at the same time, you should put as much as possible to this number, to this debt monthly budget. For example, taking money from your cash entertainment, in other words, going out less and use that money to increase your debt monthly budget, and at the same time you will be accelerating your debt payments as much as possible. So we're going to put 4,000, which is going to be a lot at this moment, but we're going to see that as we increase our number of debts, well, it's going to be distributed appropriately. So we're going to experiment that. Or obviously, we could have started here with 1,000, but that is not real thing. So real thing is put as much as you can of your money, of your income, and you can change this at any time. Usually you're not going to unshoot them, change it more than once a month, but you could potentially, but it's not a good idea. Once per month would be possible, that would be beneficial if you receive, for example, some money at a certain time, you can add it here, and then next month you can lower it to the regular monthly budget. So let's start. So we're going to put here rent, and we're going to identify that to actually going to put here RT for rent. Here is the debt ID or credit card number, and you don't need to put the whole credit card because only you need to know, and really it doesn't matter, but the last 4 digits is useful since you can then search by that number, right? So for example here, I will be able to search by 1111 and find this particular debt. So this is a rent, which is a rent. Rent is the type of pay in full. You see that the program automatically checked this box which is pay in full. We have 4 boxes here. This one is ignore, which means that the program is going to ignore its own advice and it's gonna pay whatever you enter here in the I will pay field, or ignore once. Ignore once is pretty much the same, but the difference is that it's going to be only once. Once you pay this particular debt one time, it's going to be deleted, and then it's going to kick in the program advice. So the difference, this one will stay until you uncheck it. This one will uncheck itself every time that you select paid. This one is paying full. So that means like a rent that you need to pay in full, like your cellular that you need to pay in full, your phone, other utilities, water, etc. And this one is to archive, essentially to eliminate this debt, like not to eliminate it, but to move it here into the archive area. And by doing that, you will be simply eliminating that debt from this debt list. You can do that, for example, with a car loan. You pay that in full. Maybe you're going to archive, but still be there for you to consult, etc. And maybe even put it back if required, so you can restore it back to the debt area. So so this one is kind of simple. You don't need an APR because it's 0. You're going to put your as you can see, this is red because automatically it's putting the due date for today. And obviously I'm doing this on December 17th, right? So I can double click to open the calendar, but I'm gonna leave this for today. It doesn't really matter. Like I have to pay the rent, the latest today. So if it was overdue, it would be actually black. So in other words, if I put this thing as 16, for example, you see it will be black automatically. And if I put it further into the future, it will be yellow, or it will be, if it is more than 3 days, it's going to be green, and then if it's more than a week, it's going to be white. So, so I'm going to leave this thing for now. I'm going to leave it like this, red, and the limit in this particular case of a rent, well, is the cost of your rent. So your rent payment, so the limit is the same amount owed, and the minimum payment, as you can see, when I put the amount owed, automatically the program puts the minimum at $1,500, and I will pay at $1,500 because I need to pay this in full. So I hope that this is kind of clear. Now, if I submit the changes now, by the way, I don't have to. So that means that I can enter all your debts, and then I can click Submit Changes. But if you want, just in case that you have, I don't know, a crash on your computer or something that you are afraid of losing your work, well, you can submit the changes now, and I'm going to do it just to keep track of what is happening. But again, it's not necessary. So in this case, what we have is that the total is 1,500. We don't have any acceleration because basically the minimum payment is the same amount as the I will pay payment. So basically the acceleration is 0. It's blank in this case, but it's 0. Nothing important there. Now we're gonna add an important type, the credit card. So I'm gonna put here Discover. As we all know, and I'm gonna put here DC2222. Obviously, these are fake numbers, but you should have, for example, the last 4 digits or the full number. It doesn't matter, but the last 4 digits would do as well. The last 4 digits of your credit card. But this is important because I'm going to show how when you receive a credit card that gives you, Discover usually gives you 18 months to pay for free, so of 0 APR. Okay, and they have different restrictions on that. Maybe you need to use the money in the first month. Like in a transfer or something. I mean, that depends. Or they can give you the 18 months at zero APR, but you have 18 months to pay for the credit card. So this is the one of credit cards that you should be interested in getting, because if you get these credit cards, you can pay other debts with this money. Okay, so this is gonna be, I'm gonna put the number here of 18 months. Okay, so you see, it gave me 18 months here, 18 months in terms of debt, and this is basically if this one was paid today. But usually, obviously, that is not true, and it shouldn't be true, actually, if you are entering, your thing. So I'm going to put it like I have to pay it tomorrow, and this is only to, to have the different colors in order. As I said, this one will be 0 APR, and I'm going to put that the limit is 3,000. Sorry, put it in the wrong place. 3,000, okay. 3,000, and the amount owed, let's say that we have here 2,500. So in other words, we take 2,500 and we pay something else. That let's pretend that we paid something else with this. This is for something useful, and then let's say here that the minimum amount is whatever. I'm gonna put $100. But you see that the amount that I will pay and I should pay for this is $138.89, which means that multiplied by the number of months that I would have here. Usually this, if I put even 18 months here, this number, this date, sorry, might not be correct. The reason is simple, because your expiration date could be different, or the expiration of the offer could be different. So you're going to put here the truth. Okay, so the truth is the important factor here. You're not going to be a mechanical operator. You have to be thinking what you do. I mean, and base your decisions in reality and what you have in your statement, etc. So, of course, here, because I'm pretending everything, so we have some specific dates and stuff, but it doesn't matter. So this one multiplied by the number of months that I have to pay, considering that my next payment is on this one, okay, is on this date. I'm going to have to pay it in 17 months, actually. So it will be 138.80. Also, you should know that some pennies may vary, but in the last payment they will be adjusted. So if you multiply this by 18, you will see that actually has 2 more pennies. It's going to be 2,502 pennies. But that's okay, because it will be adjusted automatically in the last payment. Okay, so now we have that. And that is very, very important. You want to have all your debts, if possible, at 0 interest, of course. But also, let's say that now we have another discovered debt. But in this case, it's not going to be with. So I'm going to click this button, duplicate. Okay. The duplicate button obviously duplicates a debt, and it's ideal for these cases. So in this case, we are not going to have this offer anymore. Okay. So we don't have this. We can delete these too. We don't have the offer anymore, and we have obviously the same due date, but now this one has a percentage rate, because we already are out of the debt, as I said, out of the offer. Like, for example, the offer was for the first month to use that money, whatever is the case. There are many cases that this happens in real life. So we're going to put 26%. And in this case, we're going to leave the limit blank, because we don't want to alter this borrowing power kind of a limit. We don't want to alter this from reality, so we're going to leave it blank because we already have the 3,000 here. But in this case, let's say that we have used out of this 475. Okay. And let's say that we have 25 here, and this might not necessarily be true in the sense that the minimum statement is what the minimum payment is what you're going to have in the statement. Okay, so not necessarily it's going to be a sum. So have to be reality, and probably you're going to leave it in one of the two um, places here, whether it is this one or this one. It really doesn't matter. But I'm going to put 25 here just for sake of the argument to now. Okay, so we have 25. Now I'm going to submit the changes. Again, I don't need to do it every time, but I'm going to do it so you can see the changes. Okay. Submit the changes, and if I made a mistake or something, I can correct and simply resubmit. What we see here? We see here that this one, actually, because I changed the date from 18 months to, by moving this one more day, meaning that I'm not paying today, so I'm paying tomorrow, so I'm reducing versus this one that will be 17, so that's why this amount increased. All right, and also this one is paid in full, even though it doesn't say pay in full, because, well, we have plenty of money in our budget, right? So nothing wrong with that. We're paying that. Now we see some acceleration because the minimum here total is 1625, but instead of that, I'm paying 2122, so that gives me an acceleration number of 497. And percentage of acceleration percentage of 23.42%, which is this number divided by this number. So this is pretty much is what we are accelerating. It could be also considered, even though it's not, how much will be this one over the minimum. It could be even more than 100 potentially, but I'd rather do it through the I will pay to reflect what is the percentage of acceleration on the I will pay total. Now I'm going to add another credit card. Okay, so I'm going to click add up here. Pretty simple. I'm going to put capital one. Sorry. Capital one. And okay, I'm putting these initials only for, to remember, but the reality is I can simply, since I have the description here, I can put just the numbers. So I'm going to put 3333, and this is going to be also a credit card. All right, so what's going to be the difference here? Well, I'm going to put a different double click to open the calendar. So I'm going to put a different date. Still is going to be yellow. And this one doesn't have payment, special payment, but I'm going to put 29. Okay, so this one is 26. This one is 29. And the limit on this one, okay, is 1250. Just let's say what they gave us, or so let's put 2000. Usually they're not gonna do that. And let's put the amount owed. I'm gonna put 1950. Okay, amount owed, and let's say that I have to pay a minimum of 25. I don't know yet how much I have to pay here, so let's submit so I can see step by step. And we're going to see some interesting changes as I go along and entering some stuff. For example, here is, well, this one is paying the same because it's kind of this one is controlled, so to speak, by the expiration date at 0%, and we want to comply with this. Now notice that this one reduced a little bit, tiny bit. Now we are already using our full budget, the 4,000, and the acceleration is 2350 with a 58% acceleration rate, And we see that we have reduced a little bit. Why? Because this one, the program is advising to pay this one in full because we have what? 29% versus 26. Okay, so this one is, and these small dollars is being taken. I mean, small, in order to pay this in full, this one had been paying a toll, and some money that was before 475 was taken from here, and now we have 4,000 here. Okay. Well, now I'm gonna add another one. Let's see. I'm gonna add a store car. Same thing, pretty much. Same thing. So Sears is gonna be 4444, and the type is gonna be store. By the way, this is just a tip. Sears gives 24 months at a 0% interest when you buy tires. So I'm doing a free ad for Sears because they do that, and it's a great thing. So if you buy your tires in Sears, everything goes there. The balancing and everything goes into a zero interest for 24 months. So it's a good thing that you should consider. So let's say that the APR in this Sears is 25. Okay. 25, and we have a small limit here, 500 and stuff. And the amount owed, let's say, is 450 maybe, and the minimum is 25. Okay, so let's see what happens when I click here. Okay, what happens is this. Some money was taken from this one. This one is still, it has preference, and while there is money and still money to pay for the minimum, obviously, it's going to be paid in full, and you see that the money here was taken to pay the minimum that we have here because we need to. We need to pay at least the minimum. This one is paying the minimum. Why? Because this is 25 and this is 26. So it has a preference, right? Preference on that one. Now we're going to enter our car insurance, for example, let's say with a State Farm. Okay, so here it goes. Another tip: State Farm has this. Again, I'm not getting money for promoting these companies. State Farm have this kind of. If you get their credit card, they give you some discount. I think it's 5% or something when you pay their installments with the car, with their own car. So, it's like a kickback. So this one's going to be insurance, right? Or obviously it could be also a non-revolving debt. But insurance is more descriptive. And so here we're going to put whatever. We're going to put 20. So still we are in the yellow. Okay. The APR is going to be a 0. The limit, well, it's going to be usually either exactly what you're paying or a little more. So I can put, let's say 500, and I'm going to put here that we're paying 432. The minimum, actually, you see, automatically is 400. Automatically, the program entered 432 and 432 here and marked it as pay in full because it's an insurance, right? You could potentially, I mean, it would be a desperate case, put an ignore once and make a different number here, and that will affect everything. But well, you better not need to, hopefully, because that will definitely maybe affect even your credit by paying on time, because you're gonna get advised here what is the ones in red. Usually you don't go over anything that is in yellow, because yellow already means that you are like 3 days 2 days from now. So that means that really you should be you should be in the green zone in order to pay, ideally. And we're going to see that the green very soon as I go increasing the dates. Okay, so I'm going to submit just to analyze because I want to do it step by step. I hope that you are getting this, and then the more and more I do it, you're going to get it more and more. So here, well, this one evidently didn't change at all because it's paying full. This one didn't change either because it's at 26%. This one didn't change because it's based on this expiration date at 0 APR, at 0% per year. By the way, APR, I know that all you know, but it's annual percentage rate. So this one at 26 is being paid only 25 actually, so it's being paid a minimum. And if you noticed, now this 432, some money had been taken from here, not reducing less than the minimum, but some money had been taken also from this one, right? Because before we were paying the 1915 full, now we're paying a little less because we have this State Farm stuff here that we need to pay in full. Okay, so now you see that obviously the acceleration is being reduced a little bit because the minimum amount had been increasing. We see that the minimum amount, it doesn't have any pennies because minimum amounts never have pennies. But this one might. So this is totally fine. I mean, this is totally fine. You're paying less here than what you should. Not should, but what you could, essentially. But that's okay. That's why you have a fixed debt monthly budget, and then the program is distributing this to the best of, to the most optimizable way possible. Now we're going to enter a utility, which essentially is another thing that is paid in full, like the insurance. But so you need to see kind of reality here. So I'm going to put here the water. So let's put here like water facility and maybe 6666, and it's going to be a utility. And of course, this one is, you can consider that zero interest. Could be an interest if you don't pay, but we are in almost ideal circumstances here. So I'm going to put a limit like you have one potentially $300, but of credit limit, but the amount owed, let's say, is 186. Okay, so automatically the program enters the minimum payment, and I will pay because again, it's a pay in full kind of debt, and we're gonna see when I click submit that the money is gonna be taken from here. It has to, right? It's obligated to take the money from here because it's the only place that is available at this moment. And that's what I want to put this paying full thing so you can understand. And also would be possible in some cases, and that would be problematic, but real, that the hourly pay will be more than your monthly budget, and then it will be in red, and all alarms will go over here. Everything will be in red because it will be an indication that that you are overextended, and then you need, for example, if we keep putting things that have to be paid in full, well, this money that we have here a little bit until 25, that will be the minimum, will be exhausted, and then this will be increased, and the acceleration will go down, etc., etc. So anyway, that's what will happen in real life, and you need to take care. Another important thing is, and I'm going to put an example of PayPal credit. Okay, for those of you that use PayPal credit, they give 6-month credit for purchases over $99, and I use it a lot. because it gives me the flexibility with no penalties or anything. But the beauty is this: the problem with PayPal Credit, which is what they expect, I presume, is that well, basically that you don't pay the thing over 6 months, and then because you're doing other purchases throughout the month, you're doing other purchases that have different expiration date. Okay, the due date is one thing, the expiration date is a different thing, and because of that, you're gonna miss it, and then they start charging their high interest. I don't remember 23 or whatever is their interest rates, but that's why I have a PayPal here, only which is this essentially behaves as a credit card to a point, because to a point is revolving, but the big difference here that you can have a bunch of PayPal entries. And I'm going to try to exemplify that. So let's say that in my and I think even they have 12 months when you buy something more than $2.99. Not sure, but I know for sure that when you buy something for more than $99 and up, they give you 6 months. So let's say that I'm going to put here 6 months. Okay, let me move this thing. The tooltip sometimes gets in our way. Okay, so I'm going to put 6 months here. So the APR in this case is 0, and the limit, well, the limit could be the total that you have and a limit with them. So let's say that you have 4,000. So you have 4,000, but the amount owed in this particular case is 235. Okay, and well, the statement again, it will give you a minimum. But you see, but it makes you pay 39.17, which you will pay this amount in 6 months. Okay. Well, now I'm going to change this. So probably you would like to change, even though it doesn't matter, because really this is real. So this is not what you put here. Is just I'm putting a calculation. So basically I'm making this up, but you have a specific expiration date that you see in your statement, and they tell you, and that is related to your due date. So probably this one would be instead of 17 like it was. So probably the real stuff will be this one. Okay, probably again. And you see now we have 6. Before we have 5. 5 months, because actually since I moved this, I only had 5 payments until the expiration date since I moved the due date. And I have 39.17. So let's click here. A few things happen, and one of them is, first of all, you see that these are subcategorized. So this one has 2, and these ones are individuals. Okay, so this one has 2. Have been we have a sub-summary here, and the other ones are separate. But I'm going to add more to this PayPal. I'm gonna duplicate this thing, and I'm going to pretend, even though this, let's say that I bought it at a different date, right? So I did that. So this expiration date might be 6/21. Okay, 6/21. Let's click cancel. This is a 0 interest. The limit is the same. All right, didn't change. And I'm gonna put here, let's say 444, and let's say that I don't have any more minimum payments. I don't have additional minimum payments. So I'm gonna leave it like this. But still, I have to pay this, and I have to pay this. Of course, this one is gonna end 1 month before this one. Okay. I'm gonna click to see how it moves in terms of using the money. We're reducing from here, right? Reducing from here, and now I'm gonna put another one that is less than 99, another PayPal. Okay, and this is the beauty. In my real life, which I use PayPal Credit a lot, I have many. I have sometimes I have 10, or maybe I have 5 or 6. So, but but I have the trust and the confidence that it's gonna be it's gonna be okay. So in other words, what I mean by that is um, that um, it doesn't matter all the complications in dates and stuff. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that this one is not going to have any date, okay, because it's less than 90. What matters really is that I know that my total will be correct no matter what. And that is the important thing. So let's say I spent something of $50. I paid it with that. Let's say that this thing maintains. Maybe the statement's going to go up a little bit. I don't know. Whatever it is okay. So what happens now when I click this? This one will have an APR because this one is not free. This one will go to the regular stuff. So I would like to pay um, some money here, maybe. I could potentially put even a minimum payment here related to this debt, but I don't have to because still this thing will be paid on time based on the percentage rate and everything. So in this particular case, I can get more benefit by not paying anything here. Okay, I get a better use of my money by not paying anything here, because if I paid something to this one at this moment, I will, at 23%, I will be taking money from this one at 29%. All these things will be almost impossible to analyze in a spreadsheet, or at least extremely difficult, and no one could make sense really easily. With the dev acceleration services, all this is absolutely flawless. You know, you just read essentially what you need to pay. So the procedure is like this: you enter every couple of days into your dev acceleration uh, services portal and see what is due, how soon is due. You should act when you see the green. This is just for your, I mean, kind of green, yellow, and red. This is something that basically this is pretty bad. You will need to go immediately to whatever you pay. If this is your landlord, well, maybe it's possible to pay the date that you that you have to pay. So it will be possible depending on the things, but usually with credit cards also it's possible sometimes to pay before a certain time of the day if you go directly to their website. As you notice here, we don't ask for passwords, we don't ask for anything. As a matter of fact, we encourage you not to even put your full credit card. So this is all about you. This is not about, you know, having your passwords like other services that have your passwords and logins and all of that. This is none of that. This is just about how you can pay your debts faster. Um, Now let me do an example here of something that could be important, and that would be a saving. For example, let's say that you have a holiday trip. So a saving, even though a saving could mean that when you have a surplus here, you can use the money to potentially or invest or save, but um, but also you can have a different type of a saving, kind of some money that you're gonna put in your um, holiday trip, in your piggyback, right? In your piggyback, and it's gonna behave. This one, this savings, essentially is gonna behave like a credit card that you are saving money. So you're gonna say, well, in a year from now, but let me put the date first. Okay, I'm gonna put it 22, so we're going to sequence here, and so the zero, I'm gonna use the month, gonna use the month here. Okay. So still the month is out of today. I mean the year. So I'm gonna put 2022, considering that I'm going to take the money on the 22nd. All the 22nd is gonna be a zero, and I want to have just $2,000. Okay. I want to have $2,000. So the amount owed, let's say that is owed to whom? Well, owed to my piggy bank, okay, to my piggy bank. And this one you see is actually an ignore payment that we have here. An ignore payment is which is what you're gonna say, but I'm gonna take it like this, even though because a saving could be something even without a date. That's why the program puts the ignore, because the saving can say something that I want to put in my piggy bank $100 per month because I want to. Okay, not thinking about a date where I need the money. I need the money for a trip. Okay, so there are two. Essentially, you can decide to use the saving, and actually you can have several savings if at all possible, that you want to put money aside, and then they will behave differently, because this one will behave related to the date, and if you put ignore, it's going to be related to whatever you put here. So in this case, I'm going to let it kind of run a little bit here. I'm going to let it run like to be with the date, and the date is 153, and the minimum potentially is zero, right? Because I'm not really forced to pay anything. If I don't want to, I can put ignore once and put zero here, which what will happen is that the next month it will increase if I pay that at a different amount. Okay, it will increase that, and I can prove it. But this is going to be very interesting. Of course, it took the money from here, which actually is where I want to pay as fast as possible. Obviously, if I increased this one, the monthly budget, if I can take money from my entertainment, from my other things that might not be necessary for the month that I pay in cash, because these steps, as you can see, are not paid in cash. So I'm trying to put everything, even groceries, paid with a credit card, first of all, because I'm going to have reward points, and also because it's the right way to do it in order for you to know numbers. If you have it in cash and you used to buy everything in cash, well, try to switch, but be in control. You have a credit card that has a high rewards, with 1.5 points, maybe 2 points, then you should prefer using that card as opposed to using cash. Okay, but also pay that in full. Essentially, that shouldn't be paid in installments. You should put it pay in full. You can force it to pay in full a particular credit card that you use for your groceries, so you know that you're not getting behind, and you're buying your groceries at 29%, or any percentage for that matter. But let's do something here, okay? So, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put ignore once. This is going to be my last explanation here, because I think that we cover pretty much everything. I'm going to put ignore once, and I'm going to put here $1,000. Okay. It's pretty dramatic here, and I shouldn't do it, because I will be taking this money into my piggy bank out of this, and I can show it here essentially, and the ignore once is going to stay checked until I pay. But this is the important thing here. Okay, so it's going to stay, and of course it took the money from this one, you see, took the money from that one. Now, what happens if I click paid? Okay, if I click paid, this is the important thing to understand, and it's a kind of a beauty, is this. I submit the changes, and this is what happens. Okay, this one was reduced for the next month to $83 because now we have only the amount owed is only 1,000, right? I just paid 1,000, and I have it in my log too here in the notes, and which also behaves like a log. Okay, and so I have that. Also, is red to indicate that actually this one was paid. So that means that the calculations are made on the amount paid. You notice that this one didn't change. So it didn't change, and if you add these things, you're going to see that it doesn't add up to 4,000. But if you add 1,000 and the rest, like you have it in green, yes, it will add to 4,000. So now the calculations are based on what you paid for the month, obviously. Otherwise, you will be having virtual money, right? So you don't want that. So this is based on reality. So you paid $1,000 to your piggy bank or to whatever debt you had here, and then that the calculations are based next month automatically. Okay, automatically this 83 will become kind of a real. This is kind of the 83 you would need to pay next month, and of course this one changed from 1222 to 122, and it was less than it was before because, well, we pay much more than we had to pay. Okay, so that is the important thing. So this is take that in consideration because otherwise you can say, oh my God, this thing doesn't add up. But in reality, it's better. It's real. It's absolutely better than the fooling yourself thinking that you need to pay less and then you have more money. That wouldn't be right. Also here you have how much money you have to pay in X number of days. Usually it gives you the 2 days, but you can calculate this, to put any number here, and then it will calculate how much money do you need to have available to pay in the next 5 days and stuff, or any number of days that you put, and this is important. So at the end of the day, what you need to do is come here every 2-3 days and check what is that you have to pay. Hopefully you're going to see things in green and you're going to take action immediately and set it up in your bank or in your credit card and pay that. If not immediately, you can pay it into the future, but set it up there, and then you're going to mark it as paid. And once it's paid, and it will be calculated, and it will be read. It will be read that it was paid, and it will have a tooltip with the payment actually that you did, which could be the same one that you have here. For example, in the case of a rent, if I pay this, well, it's going to be the same $1,500 for the next month. Of course, but at the same time, it's going to let you know that it was paid, okay? That it was paid because it's in red, okay? And you have this, and that's pretty much the rest that you can explore. And this video you can also see here. So, like looking into the future, you're gonna see here in your training tab up here. So thanks a lot. Have fun. Reduce your debts really, really fast because it's going to snowball when you have money that is going to go into the high interest debts. This money, when this one will be paid, the money will be made available for the 26 and then the 25. So it's going to pay this one very, very fast in one month, and maybe part of this one. Whatever, and so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, you're gonna be out of debt, or you're gonna move all your debts into zero APR debts, which would be your ideal situation. And then you change your financial life, and your credit score will be affected positively because of that. Thank you.